Well, Detective Barr, we very much have enjoyed being with you, and just tell us a little bit about your background, a little experience here, anything you'd like to tell the neighborhood.
Okay, my name is Darren Barr. I was with City of Atlanta Police Department for 23 years, and I'm leaving to go down to McIntosh County, work with McIntosh County Sheriff's Office. I've worked here at Tuxedo Park for a little over a year, and what I do around is as I'm riding around checking, making sure that everything is safe and there's no problems, you monitor the people. There's always people out walking, and you see people are hot. I carry extra water in my truck, and I give water to residents and people that just check on them if they look hot, and make sure everything's okay. Just basically keeping the peace and providing as much visibility as possible. I ride the whole Tuxedo Park area every Saturday and Sunday till 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, after it gets dark, it's a little bit different. We don't have so many walkers, and you're looking for suspicious activity, and anybody that needs to get a hold of us has the phone, so I can immediately respond. And there's been plenty of times where somebody calls me as they're out of town, telling me that they got a window break on their alarm, and they're able to call me on the phone and give me their address, and I go straight over there while they're on the phone, being at their residence in under a minute, and they give me the gate code or whatever, go in and start checking the property. And to hear from the people that not one time has it came up that there was forced entry, a burglary, anything like that. But I think the emotional relief of having somebody that responds who can go and check, make sure the back door wasn't kicked in, all the glass is good, there's no sign of any breakage, and to talk to them, or even you go to a video chat and show them anything that they're concerned about, so they can continue on doing what they were doing without worrying about any of their property being destroyed or tampered with, or any type of damage that they were going to have to take care of.
Tell me a little bit about your background. You started off in Korea, is that right?
Well, I started off in right after high school. I'm actually from Riverside, California, and I graduated from Rubidoux High School in Riverside, California, and I joined the Army. And the Army sent me here to Georgia. I was stationed at Fort Benning, went to infantry and airborne school, and got assigned with the Rangers. And I went, you can see, served with 2nd Ranger Company up in Dahlonega, Georgia, as part of Ranger School. And I served with them for about 2.5 years as a paratrooper. And we jumped a lot. I had 76 jumps as a paratrooper with the Rangers. Then went to South Korea and served with 2nd Infantry Division in South Korea. Came back to Georgia and joined the Atlanta Police Department, and has been with Atlanta Police Department other than when Desert Storm broke out. I went with got attached to the 24th Infantry Division, and then came back to Atlanta Police Department. So.
Now, you were telling me a little bit about one of the incidents you had on Valley Road the other day, around 2 o'clock in the morning, and you had to...
Yes. There's another officer that works over here on Tuxedo. His name's Officer Vale, and we work. You know who the other officers are. We
Yes.
work together. And me and Vale came down here to Valley, right down. It's on just on the other side of Tuxedo, and we ran into a couple of guys in a pickup truck. And I've never seen the truck before. Truck's out on the street. Nobody usually parks out on the street, and especially this time at night. And I'd never seen these guys before, and they didn't know we were there. Popped on the flashlights and approached them, and they were suddenly startled, telling us that at 2 o'clock in the morning they were looking at houses, but they couldn't name anybody that lived on Valley Drive. They couldn't name anybody that lived in the neighborhood, and we got their information and checked them out, and they were nervous, and they decided that that they could find their way out of the neighborhood on their own without us having to get a whole lot more blue lights over into the area. And then what was going to happen, I couldn't tell you exactly. But there was not an arrestable offense for what we did. But I know that there's situations like that where we were able to intervene soon enough to where there was no property damage, nobody was hurt, and nobody had to go to jail and everything. It's just part of the patrolling. There was no call. But when it comes to the calls, when you see something like that, if it's an unusual hour, unusual behavior, somebody that you don't know approaching other houses that you know that the people may not be home, feel free to call us, because that's what we do, to go check it out. Because I would much rather prevent something or have to intervene and we make an arrest than be there later and take a police report and then try and find somebody that we didn't get to see or interview before getting the information on.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the people that you intervened with running through the neighborhood the other night?
We had an incident where I got a call from one of the other residents. They saw somebody, and the person was running through the yard. As a matter of fact, it was right up here off of Habersham, and we went around looking for a person. It was just suspicious activity, and we stopped him just past Valley on Habersham, and just really out of his mind. He was, we called Grady to the scene. He agreed that he wanted to go down to Grady for psychological treatment. And that was around 2 o'clock in the morning. And generally, you don't see a lot of people walking around. And when you see people up in other people's yards, that's a good reason to call, especially when we were talking about after dark.
It was nice to be able to help both the person that was acting very strange and the neighborhood.
This is true. I don't feel that he was mentally aware enough to be a criminal, like he's breaking into cars or or meant any harm to anybody. I think he was more of a danger to himself for the condition that he was in. Grady came to the scene promptly, and no problems. He got in the ambulance with him and he went. But being in the neighborhood, roaming around, he's not going to find anything to drink, anything to eat. Not going to. It's not a sheltering place for him.
Well, all's well that ends well.
Yes, and there's been 2 of those while I've been on patrols on Saturdays and Sundays during this last year, and we had another one actually up here on Habersham, and it was a young lady, and they ended up she came out and just was really violent, and beating on doors and ripping her clothes off, and they gave her injections of Powdol and got her under control, put her in the gurney, and they took her. I don't know what the situation was afterwards. But I know that she didn't. It was a homeowner calling about the violent behavior on their porch. So occasionally there's stuff like that. I stopped a golf cart with 3 juveniles in it. The golf cart it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and the golf cart was intentionally had all its lights shut off. They didn't. The juveniles didn't even live in this neighborhood. Lived another neighborhood over. And they were on break from a rehab, and unsupervised, no parents. They weren't supposed to be out. They were in violation of curfew, and they were driving through the neighborhood when I stopped them. And there was nothing positive going to come out of that. We were able to get a hold of the parents, have them come over, take custody of the kids, take them back over there, and get the golf cart out of the neighborhood, because the juveniles had snuck out of the house. And what was going to take place, I don't know. But just from the situation and how it was, I didn't feel that there was anything positive going to come out of what they were doing.
Absolutely not.
And you don't know what you stop people from hurting themselves. from damaging other people's property. And some of this is stuff that I run into while we're out driving around and checking on things. And sometimes it's in the neighborhood. If something's suspicious, this is your neighborhood. If something's suspicious to you, you call me, because that's something that I should check out. Because if it's suspicious to you, it interests me. It's in our interest to check it out and make sure that everything's all right. Because we can't keep track. I don't know who everybody is that lives in the neighborhood. You live in the neighborhood, you live right over here, you would know who the strangers are, and you know who your neighbors are. And if you don't know your neighbors, that's not a real positive thing. You try to get to know your neighbors and know more people in your neighborhood. It just makes it easier for communication and understanding between everybody.
But I know you're trying to retire and go down to the coast and do a little hunting and fishing.
Oh yes, and McIntosh County is, they got a little bit of a feral hog problem that I'm going to try and help them out with. And there's some really good fishing, good shrimping down there. When I went in for the interview, the chief asked me if I knew how to run a boat. And I knew that I came to the right place. And I look forward to running a boat and working. It's a lot more of a relaxed environment, and I will miss Atlanta. I'll miss working here at Tuxedo Park. I won't miss the traffic so much and a lot of the noise, but I do look forward to doing a bit more catfish. You know, I haven't, the whole time I lived and worked here in Atlanta, I just never found a good place to go and catch catfish in Atlanta, you know. So that's one thing that I will do. I will have me a good catfishing spot close to my home.
Well, Officer Barr, we wish you the very best. I wish I could come shake your hand, but you know, we'll miss you and very much appreciate what you've meant to us and been here for us. So
all right.
Thank you very much.
I thank you very much too. It was a pleasure.